Well, this is interesting to me. It appears that this little strap has the capacity to absolutely destroy a transmission in a Ford Escape. Now, I didn't say it destroyed it, we don't know yet, but the capacity for this strap to destroy a transmission is actually a very real thing. If you do not know what I refer to, I will reference you to the first video on this Ford Escape right here. I think this is a 2017 model two-wheel drive Ford Escape. The story goes, this thing was towed into us, dropped off in the tow truck, and we had found this axle shaft had been recently replaced and had come out of the transmission, which is not good while you're driving down the interstate. It made a lot of very gnarly, nasty, grindy noises. We got it.
Did I do good?
Shut it off. Probably during the failure event. And I know it made them during the failure event because it made them really loud right here, and it made them really loud outside when we tried to pull the car in. So what we determined is that this strap caused the failure for this axle to pop out, and I'll explain that in a moment. What we have here is a constant velocity axle. It's a CV axle. That's one of the CV joints. That's the other CV joint. This guy right here, that's called an intermediate shaft bearing. This is the intermediate shaft. These are the splines for said intermediate shaft, and those splines are supposed to spline into that housing way back down there. You see those splines on the other side? That is the drive gear for the output shaft of the transmission. So normally on a CV axle, you'll see this little splined area over here. And then we're gonna find like a hog ring on there, and that ring is designed to snap into a recess, like a recess groove that's in the female splines in the transmission side over there. So that's supposed to be normally what secures the spline end of the axle to the transmission. That way it can't walk out. Because these CV bushings, let me see if I can't manipulate this to show you guys. I called them bushings, they're not bushings, but these CV joints have the capacity to articulate in and out. Let's look at this side, ever so slightly, because the length will change as suspension changes. There we go, see that? So they can move freely in and out, okay? Now, normally on a clip design that has this unit on this part of the axle, this would stay stationary on the transmission part, retained by that hog ring, and then the rest of the axle can lengthen and shorten and contract and expand as it sees fits while the vehicle is going through suspension travel and steering moment, okay? So this particular design is retained to the engine block with this carrier bracket assembly. That's going to bolt on like so. Actually, it's upside down. It's going to bolt on in that orientation, and then this guy hangs on to that carrier bearing on the intermediate shaft, and then when we put the strap on, it's supposed to hang on to the convex shape of the outer section of the bearing, and that's what locks it in and keeps that axle from popping off. Now, these guys are supposed to be a one-time use only type of deal. So once you take this off, you're supposed to replace it with a new one. And I used to think that was all rigmarole and nonsense until I saw this happen. So that guy's supposed to sit in there like so. Then when we put the little ring or the strap on or whatever, it's supposed to grip onto that bearing. Look at that. See that right there? There's all kinds of space behind here. There's space for absolute days. We should not be able to see light through there. So what ultimately happened is when this was bolted back on, it allowed this axle to just walk its way right out. And then it fell out of the transmission, dumped out a bunch of fluid, and immobilized the vehicle. So where we left off on the last video is I was not certain if this was just the wrong axle and it did not fit properly in there, or if this bracket assembly had been damaged from the event or potentially was damaged prior to the event. So we ended up ordering the bracket and a new strap. So let us test fit this and see if this strap is going to secure this little bearing assembly business here. The survey says, look at that, we're bolted down here on this side. See it? Well, not really bolted, we're simulating. And then on this side, you can see some light back there. So when we attach two fasteners, that's going to clamp this down with enough force to prevent it walking out. There's a concave feature on that strap that's designed to match the convex feature on the bearing. So the center diameter of this bearing is going to be larger than the smallest diameter measurable on the strap. So that's definitely going to secure it. So it appears that either this or this or this was the original failure mode, which is what caused this replacement axle to pop out of the transmission and potentially ruin the vehicle. So now we're going to find out if the vehicle in fact does need a transmission or not. What we're going to do here is replace this axle seal, because I'm sure the old one was loud noises. I'm sure the old one was damaged during the event. We're going to replace that carrier, put that axle back in, reassemble the suspension, and then see if this thing's going to move under its own power. So stay tuned. This should be a very good part 2 video. Alrighty, I have the seal unpackaged right here. Now this is a metal surround around the rubber seal, right? So I'm just going to come in here and kind of encourage that to go in. I've got a feeling, yeah, I'm going to have to get a socket on that. That's not going to drive in like this. I tried to do it easy. I've got an axle seal driver socket right here. So you'll see that's going to fit around the rubber, no problem. And now I've got something secure to tappy tap against that will drive this unit into that hole. All right, let's see how this is going to work out. Remove exhaust. Yeah, that's sloppy. And it barely fits in there. Ruin the bearings. Localized impacts for better precision. Okay. That thing's on there nice and flush like. I like it. Now you guys may have noticed that little piece of plastic that was inside of the package. Let's get to that. Now, this little guy right here. This is here to prevent yoe holes from gouging up that seal right there with the splines on the axle. So we slide that thing right there like so, and it's designed to allow us to guide the axle in without nicking or touching or folding over the lips of the seal, the rubbers. Okay, now that that's in there, I'm in a position to make an error and go ahead and try to install the axle, because habit would have us put the axle in after preparing the seal, right? But we cannot do that, because if I put the axle in, we're gonna have a hard time getting this guy to bolt back in, because we'll have to slip it past all that, all those bearings and whatnot. So let's just get this guy bolted in right now. That's right, I said meow. Yeah, we'll get this thing bolted in, then we will insert the shaft. Let's see here, a couple fasteners right here. Long electron ratchet. Convenient. Click. Excellent. All right, so now we can get that shaft, stick it on through here, and see if it's going to spline in. I took the file to the ends of that those splines on that shaft one more time. Remember, it was a half moon shaped file. Well, when I filed them yesterday in the first video, link also a reminder down below. for the first video, but I took that half moon shaped file and I only did one side. Today I flipped the file around and I did a second filing. That way both sides have an equal taper, and maybe that'll allow it to spline in easier so I don't have to run it in with a hammer. Yeah, I'm not exactly a fan of installing axle shafts with hammers. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, you know, but it's not best practice. Okay, so here's that little green business. Splines have gone past the seal right there, so we no longer need this guy. Now we just need to get it in position, lined up, and then send it home. I realize that's a little bent, but I think it's gonna be okay. Wiggle, wiggle, there it goes, it's going in. We'll use the axle as its own slide hammer again. Yeah, those splines are rough. Fortunately, they don't have to move and articulate, so once we get this seated, it should be good. There we go. I like it. It's good and centered. Let's go ahead and get our strap. Okay, let's get our strap, our stretch to fit strap, and then the two fasteners here. Let's see how this is gonna work out. We're gonna put the top one in, and I'm going to tighten it down. And then we'll get a real good visual on the clamping load that this thing is supposed to cause that bearing right here. We'll tighten the top one up all the way. See that? It already drew that bearing in towards the carrier. See that? There's space for days right here. So this thing definitely clamps down. Let's get that other nut. There we go. That's on there. So with that kind of bottomed out and not a lot of torque yet, there is a bit of space in there, see that? So we're just gonna make this a little bit tighter. See how it's stretched? That's what we're looking for. So there's actual good torque on the fastener, click. A little bit more on that top one, click. And this thing has been stretched, we're secured, locked in. I can see why that's a one-time use only part. This looks good. Let's put the suspension back together and see if this thing's gonna move. The motor didn't want to start. Coming down. Coming all the way halfway down. That should do it. Okay, so I've got to release this whole steering business here. We have it attached and pulled back with a ratchet strap. We did that for clearances. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna line up this shaft with the splines there. That way when I start releasing things and pulling pry bars out, I don't have to fight it to get the axle in. There we go. Let's slack it. Easy pry bar. Yeah, I had a pry bar jammed in there too. Make sure the splines are looking good. We will recover the pry bar from the control arm. Okay, you know, this is mangled and really tore up. We're going to omit this ball joint shim thing right here. It's gonna be a problem later. Yeah, it's no longer serving its intended function, which is to guard this boot, which is kind of tore up as it is. Okay. Okay. It's jammed in there and stuck. What have I done? Here, I have an idea. Let's put this little hook guy in there. That'll work. I'll use that to pry down on to recover my other pry bar. Take this other pry bar, put that through the hole, flip it around, give me some leverages, reaching up, left hand to get the first pry bar out, pull that down, recover the one bar. We still have control of the control arm, kind of. Uh-oh, I need to get the axle to spline in. Hang on. It's not exactly straight just yet. Come on. My abdomen is holding this pry bar down. It's my third hand. There we go. Good. Get that bolt back through. And the nut on the back side, good. Need to recover this so I don't leave it here. It's brand new. Okay, coming in with an 18 wrench on the back side for that nut. That nut may have been on the front in the first time around, but I like it when the bolts point backwards. So we're gonna clamp down on that ball joint stud. Clickage, that's nice and tight, good. So now come back out and we will get the axle nut installed at the end of the axle shaft. All right, axle nuts, that's going on. There is our socket. Going the wrong way. Loud noises. And that battery said, nah. Here's another one. That's better. Torque you later. Okay. Hello. Are you Alexis? Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Have they been called yet?
No, ma'am. No, Dave just parked a second ago. Wow, you're on fire. Look at you.
I need to leave in like a half hour. Yes, I am.
Can I help you?
No.
Okay. That's good. That's real good. That's a good answer. Yep. Okay, moment of truth. We're gonna throw it in gear. Now, I'm not gonna go drive it yet because I don't have enough hours in my life right now to do the fluid exchange on this, but I'm gonna climb in here. We can put her in gear and in drive and fire it up and see if it's going to rotate the wheels. I think it is. So, click her down into drive. Yeah, I don't wanna drive the vehicle on the road without doing fluid, and I don't have, there we go. I don't have the opportunity to do the fluid as of right now because I'm late for an appointment. Things that happen, but we're spinning. And we're spinning. Let's see if I can slow this down. Here we go. Hey, Laura. She's not here. That side's still spinning. This side's not spinning. I'll let her go. I think it's gonna work. She's going to move under her own power. So we need to do some fluid work on this thing, clean up all the nasty inside, fix whatever that's about. That's just gonna be a courtesy, I think. Maybe you have to remove it. That's no bueno. That's dangling. That's gonna flop around in the wind and make noise. We don't like wind noise. But yeah, that's that. I think we saved this one. Time will tell, I suppose. So I guess let's try to put it in park. Because remember when we put it in park earlier, it was grinding something fierce. So we're on the brakes in park. No grinding. All right. That is a success at 120,221 miles on the odometer. Powering down this Ford Escape is complete. So that being said, I have nothing more to offer you on this particular video other than a thank you, as always, for watching this video. I'm assuming you liked this video since you were here to the end. And since I'm assuming my assumption was correct and you are here to the end and you did like this video, please feel free to communicate that to me effectively by engaging that like button down below. Drop me a comment or two while you're down there, and most importantly, do not forget to have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later in a day, in a video, in a Ford Escape, no pun intended, end of transmission.